Orphan pages are pages across your Shopify store that are hard to find by both your website visitors and search engine bots, which negatively impacts their rankings. It is important to get your orphan pages fixed to make sure that every page on your site is only a few clicks away from the homepage, which improves user experience as well as search engine crawlability. In this video, I'll explain why fixing these orphan pages matters in the first place, show you my top 2 recommended methods to find them, and most importantly, show you how to fix them for good. Okay, so let's get into finding and fixing these orphan pages. If you're not aware, what are orphan pages anyways? Basically, an orphan page is defined as any page on your site that has 0 internal links pointing to it. So a page that's out on its own, not connected to the rest of the site. It's where the name comes from of being an orphan. A page that has no love, basically. And really what this means is that website visitors and Google as well can only find and reach the page if you already know the exact URL, because it's not linked to anywhere. So you have to just have the direct link to be able to find it, which is usually only located in your XML sitemap in this case. And orphan pages pop up for Shopify stores when you create a new collection, product, or blog post, but you forget to link to it from other collections, products, blog posts. Don't add it to your menu or anywhere else across your site. And this also happens too when you delete a page kind of higher up in a chain. And so the products or pages below it get deleted don't have any internal links to them as a result. So why does this matter for SEO? What is the impact of having orphan pages on our site? So first of all, crawling and indexation issues. So how does Googlebot and other search engine crawlers work in the first place? Just by definition, like crawlers, they just crawl the internet. So following links, that's how they find new pages. So basically, if there's no links to a page, it just makes it harder for Google or impossible for Googlebot and other search engines to discover it. And obviously that page may not get crawled frequently or at all if it's not even found. And like I mentioned, usually these pages, orphan pages, are just going to be listed in your sitemap. So they're published, they're live, but they're not linked to anywhere. And so lost ranking potential. So internal links pass authority. So if you link from a blog post to another blog post, that can help your other blog post rank depending on how relevant it is. And if you have backlinks to a certain page and you internally link to other pages on your site, that helps them as well. So since these orphan pages have no internal links, they're less likely to rank just because they're going to have less authority. Poor user experience. So obviously, visitors can't find a page if it's not linked to anywhere. So it's kind of pointless, basically. Hard to find those pages by anyone visiting your site. And then, just doesn't look good if you have a large number of low value pages that just can't be found. For technical SEO, it could just look like your site's not well maintained if you have like hundreds of published posts, but like half of them aren't connected to anywhere else on your site. So it just doesn't look good. Here's a little graphic of the consequences, basically summarizing everything up. So how do we find these orphan pages? 2 methods I'm going to go over. First one is just using a crawler, whether Screaming Frog or Sitebulb. I like Screaming Frog. What you can do basically is run a crawl as usual. So if you haven't used Screaming Frog before, you can crawl up to 500 URLs for free without getting the license. But what you need to do differently, so usually to run a crawl here, you'll just input your website and let the crawler go to town to follow links across your site to list all the pages, images, all the URLs that it finds, and then present all the data, like whether they have title tags, image alt text, different aspects like that. But since the crawler, just like Googlebot, it can only follow links, so it won't be able to find any orphan pages if you just do a crawl as usual. You also need to connect the crawler to your sitemap. So what the crawler will be able to do in this case is just cross-reference, hey, like here's all the existing URLs that it was able to find. Here's all the existing internal links on your site. And then here's a list of all the pages that exist on your site. And then to make sure that there's overlap there and that all the pages from your sitemap are found in the crawl. Otherwise, that means there's no internal links to them. And that's how you find orphan pages. So you can't just run the vanilla default crawl, basically. And what you want to do before you do the crawl is just go into the crawl options and check this like crawl linked XML sitemaps, and you can auto discover the sitemaps. So your sitemap is linked to from your robots.txt file. We don't need to do anything else here. Otherwise, you'll want to check this last box and then paste in all of the relevant sitemaps just so the crawler has all that data, like all the live pages from your site to be able to cross check. And then once that's done, then you'll be able to just run the crawl using that extra data. So also looking at the sitemaps basically. And once it's done, come to the sitemaps tab in Screaming Frog, so you can see along with in like all the different options basically in Screaming Frog. Click on sitemaps. You can filter by orphan URLs, and then you'll get a list of all the pages that are orphan pages. So you can see here the status code 200. So they're all live pages, but they're considered orphan pages since they don't have any internal links pointing to them. And you can just export the list and then take care of each of these as what I'm going to go over in just a minute. Yeah, so Screaming Frog themselves has a full tutorial here as well if you want more detailed steps or get stuck on setting that up. And another option too, so this is more so for like the ongoing checking for orphan pages. After you do the first time, say with Screaming Frog, address all the orphan pages, and then just to check that other ones don't pop up over time, or rather to find out about new ones that do pop up over time. So you can just use Ahrefs, SEMrush, whatever tool that can just kind of automatically crawl your site, whether on a weekly, monthly basis. And you'll be able to see from these reports, this is from an Ahrefs site audit. You can see here there were 6 orphan pages found, so no incoming internal links to the page. That's how they're defined, the orphan pages. And so just click through and to see all the affected URLs and fix them, like what I'm going to go over in just a second. And one thing to keep in mind too, whether from Screaming Frog or Ahrefs, whatever site crawler that you use, you can just ignore false positives, because each of these tools will just literally point out, okay, if any URL doesn't have internal links pointing to it, which some of these you may not even want that, or it doesn't even matter. So we really only want to care about the pages that we want to rank for SEO. So collections, products, blog posts, and whatnot. So if one of your like shipping policies or about page, something like that, like just kind of informational page about your site, gets flagged as an orphan page, you can just ignore it in that case. We really just want to make sure that all of our important pages we want to rank for SEO are getting crawled, and they're not orphan pages there. So how do we go about fixing these orphan pages? Now that we have the list of URLs from whatever tool that we used from before, and what you want to do here is basically just add internal links to them. So since it's an orphan page with no internal links, add internal links to it. So for orphan collection pages, ideally link to them from another collection page, and then also from at least one blog post. So just in general, the internal linking kind of system I like to use is like make sure every collection page links to another collection page. And then each of your blog posts anyways should link to at least one or more products, one or more collections. So just keep that structure in mind. Also, so for products, make sure every product belongs to a collection. So maybe the product is an orphan page just because you added the product, but then didn't add it to any collection. So once you add it to a collection, it'll be linked to from whatever collection page that it falls under. And so make sure products get links that way. For blog posts, so you can just link to them from other blog posts. That's the easiest way to go about it. So that's kind of the approach for each of these types of pages that may be orphan pages. Another option, so if an orphan page happens to be an outdated or irrelevant page, what you could do is just, so maybe you published it like a few years ago or something and it just doesn't make sense anymore. But what you can do is either just redirect it, add a 301 redirect to the nearest or the most relevant existing URL on your site, or just get rid of it so you can unpublish it as well. So this could be just a good way to do a content audit as well, to make sure that Each of these orphan pages is actually a page that you want on your site in the first place. So yeah, you can just remove any thin content pages if the orphan page happens to fall under that category. So yeah, you can just remove or redirect it. So following these rules from above. Um, Another way is just making sure these pages are linked to in your menus. So usually want to have like your main collections all linked to from your main menu. So that just ensures that they're always just a click away from any page. And then if you do run a lot of like seasonal promotion sales, something like that, just create menu items and just be sure to come back and remove them once they're no longer needed. Because you don't want to have like turn that into a broken link. So say you have a link to your Memorial Day sale page in your menu, and then you unpublish that Memorial Day sale once the sale ends, but you still have the link on the menu. So just avoid doing that basically. Um, another option, so making sure you have breadcrumbs across your site. So that just kind of adds internal links by default, mostly from product pages back to their parent collection pages. But still, it's just good overall practice. Make sure everything on your site is all linked together nicely. And then the last step, once you update the orphan pages, so using whatever method that applies here for fixing them, what you'll want to do is just update or request indexing in Google Search Console to make sure that Google crawls the most recent version of the page. So they see, so say you add an internal link to an orphan page. So yeah, after you link to an orphan page, so say from page A to page B, which is the orphan page, request indexing for page A, the page that you now added an internal link from, in Google Search Console. So Google will crawl that page and see the internal link. So, okay, now page B is no longer an orphan page anymore. So that's how you can make sure that Google sees that. And hopefully you'll see some help in the rankings from doing that. And of course, you can clean up all your orphan pages and then rerun your crawl with Screaming Frog, or wait for the next weekly or monthly report from Ahrefs to see if there are any new orphan pages. Maybe something went wrong in your cleanup. You might have created more orphan pages or something. It happens. Don't worry about it, but now at least you know about it and you know how to fix it. So just kind of the overall process, just adding internal links, basically that's the fix, just from the most relevant page possible. That's how you can fix orphan pages. And then just be sure to include them in your overall site navigation. Resubmit the pages for indexing in Google Search Console to keep everything up to date. And yeah, that really covers it in terms of how to identify and fix orphan pages across your Shopify store to improve your technical SEO. If this video was helpful, please give this video a like. Consider subscribing as well. And for the full technical SEO guide, 90 plus pages of more practical SEO tips for Shopify stores, download the full training in the first link in the description below. And thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.